want me to do the turkey dance?
Hello and welcome to Rotted Reviews, and welcome and happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It's Thanksgiving 2022. And today I'm reviewing the 42nd movie to bear the Amityville name. Just in time for Turkey Day, it's Amityville Thanksgiving. Because why not? We already have a situation where the licensing is non-existent. This franchise could be anything. I've already proven that with my absolute cinematic masterpiece, Amityville Gas Chamber. If you haven't watched it, it's free on my channel. An actual movie. Sort of. Before I get into this, I do want to just go ahead and plug myself just a little bit here and say that coming up tomorrow, one day only for Black Friday, is going to be a 35% off everything sale in the Rotted store. So go ahead and check that out. We got mugs, t-shirts, everything through my partnership with Spreadshirt. And yeah, some good quality stuff there. Every design in there is of my own making, and all of it would go a long way towards supporting this channel, as well as supporting your loved ones that would just die to get some Rotted merch in time for Christmas. Okay, so I've sold my soul enough. Time to get into Amityville Thanksgiving. Written and directed by 𝗘𝗾𝗂𝗶𝗽𝗺𝗺 Jr., which seems to be kind of this odd incestual relationship with Sean C. Phillips, who did Amityville Karen and is on the works for Amityville Bigfoot and God knows what else at this point. This is a movie that kind of fits that same bill in tone and in quality and in structure even. So the very nature of this movie is kind of taken up by a marriage counselor, a relationship counselor, therapist that is drawing people to a lonesome cabin in Amityville as a last-ditch therapeutic method for them to have a remote Thanksgiving dinner together. Yeah, it makes about as much sense as it sounds. Couple that with this therapist being the absolute worst therapist in the world, not only drawing people out of an office and into the real world, but also hitting on the wife, discouraging every method of success, having some very odd fascinations with whittling, despite the fact that his knife barely ever touches the stick that he's working on.
Hopefully they have a nice Thanksgiving dinner. I'll let them use the cabin for the weekend. Maybe those sparks will ignite again. One can only hope. Just like this piece of wood.
What is that for? And why do you have a knife?
Oh, I was just whittling. We're not getting anywhere like this. Let me explain something to you. Pick up that piece of wood, Danny.
What am I going to pick up the wood for?
Pick up the wood, Danny.
All right, I got the wood.
Let's say that's your relationship, okay?
Yeah.
Someday, this could be your relationship.
The whole thing is just absolutely nonsensical and structurally an absolute mess. There's no story here. As much as I've described it, that's all there is. There's no real characters, no real plot. Nothing really happens. The characters kind of go through what they're going through, which just seems to be mixed, odd improv lines of dialogue. Basically, you two are an unhealthy marriage couple. You want to get laid. You don't want anything to do with her, but you're still trying to make it work. Now, go!
Look at this, look at this. He's probably burying bodies back here.
Oh my God, you see what I mean? You're crazy.
No, I'm not crazy. Look
You
at this.
think of all these things.
Come on.
No.
And just recording whatever happens with whatever the actors come up with off the top of their heads and piecing it together in a haphazard way to come up with ultimately half of a movie. This kind of follows that half with a therapist following up after the characters and so forth as they're going through this cabin and basically just continually ripping on one another and talking to the camera that's being, recording them for posterity purposes. And then eventually the movie just kind of gets tired of its own shtick and eventually just kind of goes into interview segments with random people that are talking to the camera, sometimes with really bad keying so that they're mixing in with the green screen of the background, sometimes just talking to the camera in a weird 9:16 portrait fashion. And all of them are just kind of describing this therapist as somebody that's on the lam, on the loose, somebody that they're tracking down, hunting down, somebody that's done these evil things, and just kind of generally talking about some narrative subject elements of this film as if we've already seen them. It's just a very, very odd sequence of events that doesn't really show anything, doesn't really do anything. It just kind of lays up that this therapist is demonically possessed and or evil in some fashion. We get interview segments with him talking for posterity again to the camera, which every single time that happens, not only do we have a reticle overlay that doesn't make sense, but everything seems to be happening with a horizontal shift that's completely off and nausea-inducing, with a couple of nice little seizure-inducing flashes happening for absolutely no reason whatsoever, as if that's what every camera has ever looked like, or any camera has ever looked like in the history of cameras. This is their After Effects, I'm assuming After Effects plugin that is simulating an analog camera very, very poorly. Everything about this movie is just absolutely abysmal and boring. Look, I love Thanksgiving horror movies, and it's a weird thing to say because there genuinely isn't that many of them. We have Pilgrim, which was the series from Into the Dark from Hulu. We have Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving 3. The first of which was good, campy, fun. The second or third there is no second. The third is just absolutely terrible, but at least it's trying to do something. At least it has some story, some characters, some plot that goes from A, B, C, D, and E all the way to the end credits. As bad as it was, at least tried something. And this just didn't. There's nothing here. It's nothing but filler, nothing but odd scenes of improv until it finally gets bored with itself and just starts doing interviews that go nowhere. Nothing happens. There's no conflict. There's no resolution. There's no growth. There's no journey. Nothing. It's filler the entire runtime. And as much as I love Thanksgiving, the first one, I still show it to friends and family as a way to torture them. It's good, campy fun that's centered around Thanksgiving. It keeps in the theme. It keeps in the tone. You have a killer turkey running around that looks god-awful and has god-awful kills and so forth. But, man, does it really lean into that with the turkey having sex with a woman wearing a gravy-flavored condom, things like that. It really leans into the Thanksgiving premise. And this doesn't. This has almost nothing to do with Thanksgiving, except for the fact that they're there at the cabin for Thanksgiving dinner, which they don't even have Thanksgiving dinner. It's not shown. There's no, breaking of the bread, no turkey, no nothing. There's a turkey costume that shows up out of the blue for no reason and isn't really utilized. Nothing about this movie was well thought out. Nothing about this was it was carefully designed. I would love to see the script for this because it's probably got to just be 2 paragraphs of some bullet point notes, and that's it. I hesitate to say that this movie ever had a screenplay. It certainly didn't have storyboards, and if it did, how in the world did it ever get made like this? I don't understand. I don't understand these movies. I'm still going to review them because they're Amityville, and I'm locked into this shit. This is my burden now. But I'm watching it so you don't have to. This is my public service. I've locked myself into Amityville. I'm going to keep reviewing these movies, but I don't understand how they keep getting made. I don't know if it's some sort of weird Ponzi scheme that's going to eventually collapse on everybody. I don't know if it's a money laundering scheme. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes here. And for some reason, because they don't have to pay franchise rights to the name of Amityville, and it puts it both at the beginning of the dictionary for, viewership in terms of anybody sorting from A to Z in any particular streaming service, as well as name recognition of a franchise that's been going on for the last 50 some odd years. I get why they do it in terms of attaching Amityville to it. I just don't understand why they make movies. I don't understand how anybody actually does this, there's no creative passion to it. There doesn't seem to be any inkling of anybody that actually wants to tell a story, which I would think would be one of the principal foundational elements of a storyteller, which in a sense is what a filmmaker is first and foremost and principally. But without a story, without anything being told, without any creative endeavors, without any kind of enrichment or any kind of emotional resonance or characters or storyteller or messaging to get to the audience, I don't know what the point is. It can't be for a whole lot of money. I'm looking at IMDb. This has been out for a little while now. There are only 29 views on this, or 29 reviews, or people marking any kind of score on it. This isn't being widely seen. I paid $3.99. Which is about $9.99 more than it was worth of the rental fee on this. It can't be doing this for a whole lot of money. So if creativity, inspiration, messaging, and money are off the table, I don't get it. Sean C. Phillips, explain it to me. I don't know if you're watching these. If you are, please leave comments. Just message me directly. I'll leave things private. We don't have to expose anything here. I'm just dead curious what the fuck? I don't know why. But what I can say is, as much as I don't know why anybody would make this, I also don't know why anybody would watch this. If you're wanting to watch a Thanksgiving horror movie, if you're one of the ones that, like me, that love that, and have some sort of sadness to the fact that there isn't too many of them, and because of that, you're giving some consideration to kicking on Amityville Thanksgiving, I just gotta warn you, this is barely a Thanksgiving movie, this is barely a horror movie, this is barely a movie, this is barely a story, and it's certainly barely worth your time. It's not worth your time. It's not. There's nothing here. There's no reason to watch this. There's no reason that I watch this aside from making this video. And that's my review. That's all I got. There's nothing here. There's nothing. I want to just something there. There's nothing there. Thank you very much for watching this. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Remember, Black Friday sale tomorrow, one day only on rotted.store. All merchandise 35% off. Get it while you can. It's all print to order. You can get whatever you want. Take care. Have a great day. And look forward to seeing you on my next review. Remember, next time you want to watch a horror movie, first make sure that it's good and rotted.